Hi and welcome to Fashionable Flavours. I'm your host, model John Zheng. Thank you for watching TV99, and today I'll be bringing you a Mexican special. So throughout my shows, I've given you different cuisines from around the world. So today I've chosen to give you a Mexican-inspired dish. This is my take on chili con carne. This dish is absolutely perfect for tacos. You can have it with brown rice. You can eat it on its own, so you can put it in a wrap. So this will be a very versatile meat chili dish, which you can use on whatever Mexican flavors you want. So let's go through what you need for this recipe. So starting off, we have about 300 grams of minced beef. I always go for the leaner beef, so this has about 5% fat. You could use any other type of meat, or if you're vegetarian, you could keep the meat out of it. I'm using red kidney beans today. Red kidney beans are a very Mexican bean to use, so you can buy them in a can, you can soak your own red kidney beans. So these are absolutely delicious in my chili con carne. And we also have some chopped diced tomato. So this tomato, you can get it in a can, it's very easy. You can make your own chopped tomato. You just boil the tomatoes, peel the skin off, chop them up, but who has a lot of time to do that? So just go to your supermarket and just get a can of tinned tomatoes. And I'm also going to be making my own guacamole. So guacamole is very easy to make. Guacamole is an avocado salsa dip. So to make the guacamole, you need one large ripe avocado. And you know, every time I go to the supermarket, it's very annoying when you can't find a ripe avocado. So I'm forever going around, squeezing, making sure I can find a ripe avocado. But make sure the avocado is ripe because you don't want to be eating hard guacamole. We also have 2 vine-ripened tomatoes. So vine-ripened tomatoes are a lot sweeter, they've got more taste than just your plain, boring old tomatoes that you get at the supermarket. And we've got lime. Lime is very important in the guacamole because lime gives it that wonderful, zesty, zingy taste. So whenever you're making a guacamole, always use lime or lemon. I prefer to use the lime because it's more traditional in Mexican cooking. And once again, our good old friend, the red chili. I've explained to you before, the bigger the chili, the less heat, the smaller, the hotter the chili. So we're going to go 1 chili, as well as our good old friend garlic. I put garlic in nearly all my food. I mean, garlic is very good for your health as well. I'm just a garlic fanatic. Some people don't like to use garlic, but it's entirely up to you. As well as our good old friend coriander. So coriander is so versatile. I use it in a lot of my cooking for garnishes, but coriander is also used quite a lot in Mexican cooking. So we're going to use this to garnish over the top, but also to put in our fresh salsa. And we have 1 white onion. Most of the times I use red onion because it's sweeter, but for this particular dish, a white onion is fine because you're going to be cooking it, so not eating it raw. And for the flavorings, for this chili con carne, depending on how hot you like your food, I personally like it extra hot. So what I have here is, I've got paprika, hot paprika. You can use smoked or whatever paprika you have in your cupboard, as well as some dried chili flakes for that extra kick. And our good old friend, salt. Salt goes a long way. So as I said before, always taste your food. Make sure, you know, when you're seasoning, you don't over season because you can always add more, but you can't take that seasoning out of your food. Okay, so let's start off by heating up our pan. So we want the heat to be, let's say like a medium heat, because you want the mince to brown. So what we're going to do is, we just want to put a bit of oil into the pan just to coat it. So there we go. So we just want to let the oil heat up. While the oil's heating up, we can we can dice our onion. So a lot of people don't like cutting onion because they end up crying, but it has to be done. So let's start off by cutting the ends off. So just discard of them and slicing down the middle. So with this particular dish, you want to cut the onion fairly finely. So what I want to do is just remove that. I've shown you this method of cutting before. So basically just hold the onion firmly, slice down without slicing your fingers, be careful. You can just slice across like that, and then straight down. So always make sure you have a sharp knife. Seems like someone forgot to sharpen the knives today in the studio, but that's okay. We will get through that. So always improvise whenever you're on TV, so that's fine. So we're gonna just chop the onions, make sure they're finely diced, but today I'm gonna go a bit coarser. All right, so I reckon half an onion is probably enough for today's quantity of meat. So if you're cutting back on your meat intake, you can always make this with extra beans. So don't feel as though you have to put meat in this dish. You can also make it vegetarian by adding vegetables. So I'm gonna do 2 cloves of garlic today. We just wanna give them a quick smash, and then we just wanna peel the skins off like that. So there we go. And we just want to finely dice or cut the garlic. Unfortunately, my knife is not that sharp today, so I can't go as fine as I'd normally go. But I mean, for when you're at home and we have a chili. So I'm just going to put half of this chili. I'm going to save the other half for our guacamole dip. So who doesn't love Mexican? I think people generally assume Mexican's not very healthy, but if you make your own Mexican at home, then I can guarantee you it'll be delicious and a lot less calories. Right, okay, so what we want to do now is, I think, just turn the heat down a little bit because we don't want the meat to burn. So into the pan, we have 300 grams of minced beef. So just put that in. And what we want to do is we want to break the mince up. Right, so in the pan we have the brown mince. It's just browning away. So what you want to do is you want to break the mince up into fine pieces. So just chop that down using a bit of elbow grease. So I'm using extra lean beef today because, you know, we're watching our diet. So Mexican cooking is very easy and it normally involves using a lot of fresh tomatoes and other ingredients. So in the pan we've got the beef browning and we want to put in the onion, garlic and chili. So just throw it in. No need to be particularly careful about this. So Mexican is one of the dishes I like to cook if I've got friends coming around. I'll make this and we'll have tacos. It's a great sharing dish. So Mexican food is all about sharing. So this is why I've worn my lovely shirt today. It resembles all the different flavors of the world. And I definitely like to keep my taste buds entertained by cooking different styles of dishes throughout my series. Right. So there we go. So we've got the minced browning with the onion. We can turn the heat up just a little bit. Seem to have gotten a little bit low. So in the pan we have the beef, the garlic, the onion and the chili. While that's sizzling away, we can add the seasoning. So we have a bit of salt. As I said before, don't add too much salt to begin with because you can't take the salt out. So I'm just going to put a tiny bit to begin with because we want to taste the seasoning as it cooks. And we want to also add the spice mixture which is paprika, hot paprika, and chili flakes. So let's put that in. Right, okay, so give that a good stir. I can already smell the wonderful chili. So Mexican is one of my favorite foods, but you know, I think a lot of people tend to go buy the Mexican packets from the supermarkets. I think it's very easy to make your own seasoning, which is generally it's paprika, chili, garlic. I mean, there's no need to waste your money on buying pre-made sauces. You can always make your own if you have the time. Right, so while that's browning, we want to add the red kidney beans into this dish. So this is just a perfect meal to make on a weekend. You know, when you're feeling particularly lazy, you want something hearty, filling, something that's going to warm you up over these miserable winter days. And so we have the chopped tomato, we just throw that in. Right, so this is looking amazing. So there we have it. So what you want to do is you want to really allow this to simmer for about 10 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes, until all the flavors develop. You want the kidney beans just to soften, as well as the onions. So this is one of those dishes where, you know, you could probably turn down the heat, go and watch a bit of TV and come back. So with this particular dish, you don't need to mind it too carefully. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to let that simmer on a slow 10 to 15 minutes while all those flavors are developing. So while that's cooking, I'll show you how I make my guacamole. Right, so I think a lot of people tend to go buy store-bought guacamole, which is basically just avocado dip. But I mean, there's no need. Like, if you can get your hands on a ripe avocado, some tomatoes, lime, coriander, some salt, chili, you can make your own guacamole. So it's quite easy. So first of all, I'll show you how I prepare the tomatoes. So you just want to take off the vines. I mean, they're pretty to look at, but they're not very tasty in your guacamole. So you want to take them off. So most people would have various versions of how they make their own guacamole, but essentially it's pretty much the same sort of thing. So what I want to do is I just want to cut the tomatoes in half. You can also de-seed these. So I would probably just take out the seed part, so that's fine. We'll just dispose of them. Right. So we just want to take out the seeds of the tomato. I mean, you can always save the tomato seeds for like a tomato sauce or bolognese sauce, but for this particular guacamole, I want to take out the seeds. Okay, so we don't need to be too precious, so I'm just going to take out the rest of the seeds. And this one, right. So now, what we want to do is we want to finely dice the tomato. So just cutting across. I think Mexican food is very rustic, so you don't need to be too precise in terms of your cutting technique or... Right. As I was saying before, vine-ripened tomatoes are the best tomatoes to get if you're going to be eating the tomato raw. So we'll just chop this last one. So I would like to hear from viewers on what they would like me to cook for future episodes. I've really enjoyed making this series with TV99, and I hope to bring you more wonderful, tasty dishes. So make sure you tune in to my full series. So what we want to do is we've got 2 tomatoes chopped in there, and I'll show you how to de-seed an avocado. It's quite easy. So you just want to bring that across, and you can just give it a turn. Right, so you've got that. You just want to take out this seed bit, throw that away, and you just basically scoop out the avocado like that. So scoop it out. Who doesn't love a good avocado? Avocado is one of those foods where it's debatable. People say it's good for you. Now people are saying it's high in cholesterol, fat. But avocado has natural fats, so we do need some fat in our diets, and let's face it, natural fats are a lot better than saturated. So, right, we don't want to waste the avocado. Avocados are not cheap. So what we do is we just want to like mash it with our spoon. So just chop it up. May need a bigger bowl for this, but as I was saying, we improvise on TV, we make it work. So we want to chop this avocado up. Right, that meat is looking sensational. So we just want to keep mashing that, and it depends how you like your guacamole, but I actually like it quite rustic. I like the big chunks of tomato and avocado. So what we want to do now is we want to add some chili into there. So just finely dice half a chili. Throw that away. And we just want to cut that into smaller pieces. So we're just going to throw in half a chili into our homemade guacamole. And this is where the magic happens, lime. You can't go wrong with a good squeeze of lime for that acidic kick. So, as I was saying, just squeeze through. So we can just use the spoon if you want, and we don't want to waste the juice. So we're just going to give that a good squeeze over the top. Right, I'm going to put the whole lime in because I love my guacamole extra zingy. So this dish is very healthy. There's not a lot of saturated fats in this. You're using good avocado, so it's all natural fats. And we're going to give our beef, just coming back to the beef, okay, we're giving it a stir. It's looking very nice. So that's fine. We can just let that cook down a bit more. Right, so back to the guacamole dip. So I've put avocado, tomato, chili, and a good squeeze of lime. We just want to put a tiny bit of salt for a bit of flavor. Salt goes a long way, so not too much. That's fine. And we want to put, say, probably half of this coriander into our guacamole dip. So just chop it up. So this is Mexican made the healthy way. I don't add sour cream to this because sour cream is very high in fat. So, and especially if you're vegan, and this guacamole is no meat, no dairy. So we're going to put that in, and we just want to give that a good stir. Just want to let those flavors marinate together. Okay, so now that is our guacamole made. I'm just going to put that aside. We're going to come back and we're going to check on our beef chili con carne. Right. So I think throughout the series, I've brought a dish from probably all around the world. I've done something from Italy, I've done Asian, I'm doing Mexican, I've made a New York cheesecake. So I would like to hear from TV99 viewers what dishes they'd like me to cook. So my philosophy about cooking is you should enjoy cooking, and you should also enjoy what you're eating, but it shouldn't be too time consuming to make. So, right, okay, so this is almost done. So what I generally like to do is I like to serve this with either rice, or you can put the filling inside tacos. So today I've cooked some brown basmati rice, which I made earlier. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to bring that out. So as you can see, I'm just going to quickly heat that up. on a medium heat. So I'm using brown basmati rice today. So generally, brown rice is a lot healthier than the white rice, but you can use whatever rice you like to eat with this. So we're just going to come back, and as I was saying to you before, it's always great to taste the seasoning of your food. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just quickly try a bit of this beef to see if it needs any more salt. Okay. I would probably add just a little more salt into this for a bit more taste. Right. I think this is almost done. So what we want to do, before this is almost ready to cook, we want to add the rest of the coriander. So we're just going to chop the coriander up. Like that. And we can just throw the coriander into our dish. Right, we want to just give that a stir. So this dish will probably take you about maybe 20 to 25 minutes to prepare and cook. It's very easy and it's one of my favorite Mexican dishes to make. So I'm just heating up some brown basmati rice that I cooked earlier. So we're just going to fluff that up. As you can see, brown basmati rice is very nutritious and it's very healthy. So just going to give that a stir. Okay, so now I think we're almost ready to plate up. So I'm going to quickly give a quick clean and I'll be right back. Right, so we're almost ready to plate up. So we have our brown basmati rice, which is cooked nicely. I've shown you in previous episodes how to cook rice. It's quite easy. You put equal quantities of water to rice. So that's cooked, and we've got our beef chili con carne. It smells delicious. So I think we're almost ready to plate up now. So what I like to do is, you can always put the rice on the bottom of the dish. So I'd say about half. So this is probably enough for, I'm just going to do one portion. And we want to put some of this delicious chili beef con carne on top. As I was saying, you could keep out the meat and make it strictly vegetarian if you're not a meat eater. Right, so this is looking fantastic. And what we want to do is we want to top this off with our homemade guacamole of avocado, tomato, coriander, and a zest of fresh lemon and lime. Okay, right. I think that's enough. So there you have it. So there is my homemade chili beef con carne with brown basmati rice and a homemade guacamole on top. So thank you for joining me today. And throughout the series, I've tried to bring you delicious, tasty food from around the world. And my meals hopefully have inspired you to want to cook at home and eat healthier. So this is my chili beef con carne. I hope you enjoy it. And thank you for watching Fashionable Flavours on TV99. And make sure you tune into their Instagram account, social media, TV99 on Facebook and Instagram. And if you'd like to follow me on my own personal account, it's John Zheng _model, as well as John Zheng model on Facebook. So there you have it, and I'll see you next time for more great cooking ideas.